As much as I love fishing, sometimes it's better to stay home and tend your gear. I developed this Catfish jug a year ago for better visibility, but I'm still trying to improve it. Visibility has always been a difficult thing in using these fishing jugs of any type, but adding a really brightly colored flag helps a lot. The biggest problem is you put them in here and they get loose, or they flop around in the wind and they come out, and so we're going to hot glue them in place. Ooh, foamy hot glue, melty, foamy hot gluey stuff. And then we have one flagged unit that's been completely destroyed by hot glue. Don't put the tip of the gun down in there, that's what makes it melt. But the glue itself it's secure in there, secure enough, I suppose. Next modification, we add a little streamer. Hot glue is in fact hot. Fact. Absolutely incontrovertible. Streaming and more visibility. But there's only one way to know if the modification will work, and that's to go fishing. Number one question of the day: where the heck is my hat? I think it's at my mom's house. We're back on the hand line and the cane pole. We just had a hit from a channel cat, but no takes. Cast well. I think I said this before, I'm shooting at f/16 today, so I want to get more in focus, but I still have the neutral density filter so you can see the clouds and stuff. Wind was really nice chop when we first got here, then it just stopped. But we're getting bites, and if you're getting bites, keep fishing, change it up. One of my things I do is when I'm doing my hand lines, they're biting the bottom one. I have one of my simpler spiders here and one of my amp flies, green, and they're biting the white simpler spider with my worm or super worm. I've had people get all up in arms that I add bait to my flies or flies to my bait. You know, they didn't raise the bait, they didn't tie the flies, they didn't buy the gas, but yet they know that I shouldn't add worms to my bait or bait to my worms. I don't understand. As if I'm obligated to somehow do what they say based on what they think. It's really just a form of selfishness to think that I have to do things their way. Yes, got one. Finally got him. Finally. Well, had him. No, we got him. River run through it. Ha! Hit the bottom one. I should say. Hit the bottom one. Small, good enough for bait. Simpler spider. If you haven't seen that, I'll have a video up on that. And that's gonna be it. Now the reason I say number 8 hook, because you know what I'm gonna do when I get to the river. I'm tipping this with a night crawler. I don't mess around with, but the point is that it does sort of simulate that spider. It's a little bit more body to it. Put it over, let it down to the bottom. Don't have to cast it at all. Yeah, it's almost flat out here. When I say flat, the wind and the current move in the same direction, so we're moving at a pretty good pace. And so there's a lot of hydrodynamic lift on the line, especially since I'm using 20-pound test main line. It's catching a lot more water, so there's a lot more it takes, you have to let out a lot more line to get it down in the water column, as opposed to if I were using straight 8-pound test, which is less than half the diameter of this stuff, it would cut through the water a lot better. Or if I had my lead core line, which is weighted, you know. Got one. He ate the top and the bottom hook. Sometimes it's better to let him go because you don't want that hook getting into your arm. You can trip to the emergency room. When you go fishing, fellas, make sure you get your tetanus shot. He's peeing and pooping. Ooh, he's been fighting too. His tail is all... Number 2, little guy. Again, nice eating size fish. That would be nice on that cane pole rod and reel. Lost a jug. I designed these jugs not to be lost. You know, they sit upright, wide base. The fish can't pull it under. Upright. Flags make it highly visible. One of the things that happened, pull rope. I was starting to have some problems with the pull rope, but up at the dam, when I set the second set of jugs, ran back to the dam, gonna try to catch some more bluegill before I check the jugs again. Shut the motor off. The spring in the pull start just totally came apart. I have no idea why that happens. I really don't like the pull start on these. The good thing about these motors is you can fix them. I keep my toolbox here on the boat. Got my little 10mm, took it apart, got the spring wound back in, got it mounted back up, but it wouldn't pull quite right. I think I had either the string wound up the wrong way, or I didn't have I don't know, something wasn't quite right, but I managed to get the motor started, ran back downstream to collect all my jugs. Got 11, but I just couldn't find this one jug. Went down, came back up, then I started my zigzag pattern where I literally go back and forth from one side of the river to the next, all the way down to where they possibly couldn't have gotten, then come all the way back up the same way until you find that one missing jug. The spring in there came loose again while the motor was running at full speed, and it started putting a bind on the motor. So, oh man, so I let off the throttle, turned on around, just idled all the way back here to the dock. We're gonna have to let that one jug go. Any of you guys who fish in this area, who know where I am or whatever, if you find that jug, go ahead and take it and keep it. But I can't stand the thought of even a single jug being lost, because jug fishing is one of those somewhat controversial things, because you can catch an awful lot of fish in an awful short amount of time, and a lot of guys just don't care. They don't care about the resource. They don't care that they're littering up the river with their jugs. I mean, they'll put out 50 jugs and it seems like they'll leave half of them out. And it's not like that here. In Alabama, I haven't seen a more responsible group of jug fishermen than here in Alabama. But I've heard horror stories in other places where people just don't care about the resource. That's why we call it Alabama the beautiful, because we actually care. We care about our environment. I mean, we care about these things. I've lost jugs before, but I spent all winter long thinking about how can we make jugs so we won't lose them. Sometimes no matter how well you try to design something, it just doesn't, it works. I mean, I had a much easier time finding these jugs than I have any of the other jugs I'm sure if we had kept looking, we would have found it, but guess what? So, what do I think about these jugs? I like them. I'm going to continue to use them. I have plenty of materials to make more. I'll probably just make an extra one or two or something, you know, maybe get up to 15 jugs or something. When you're fishing with jugs, keep in mind that you need not be part of the problem, but be part of the solution. Just keep that in mind. I think I'm gonna get some tacos, man.